इंसाफ की भीख मत मांगो, बहुत मांग चुके।
तुम्हें एक हीरो चाहिए अदिति।
हीरो नहीं चाहिए आयान, बस ऐसे लोग चाहिए जो हीरो का वेट ना करें।
हमारी लड़कियों का हत्या हुआ है साहब, और हम ही पे केस बना रहे हैं साहब।
Hi Anubhav and welcome to the Quint. And first of all, congratulations. Article 15 is doing very well.
Thank you.
Now, before going to talk about the film, I want to ask you something which everybody's been asking. What is Anubhav Sinha smoking these days, and where can we get what he's smoking? Because, I mean, of course, they're referring to the kind of films you used to make, whether it was Ravan or Caste, and then this suddenly something snapped and Mulk happened, and a lot of people thought that Mulk might be a fluke. But, of course, you've given Article 15 now.
I'm smoking the same Benson and Hedges, which I shouldn't be smoking, but yeah. No, something has happened. I can't put my finger on it, but the stories that I'm getting attracted to are very, very different from what attracted me, say, 5 years back. So, but I can't, I'm being asked this question by people, including friends, but I'm not able to put my finger on it. I think it has got a lot to do with anger, my anger with what's going on in the world, not only in India, more so in India, and so it's got a lot to do with anger.
Do you also think that somewhere along you were earlier making films thinking or second guessing what the audience wants to see, and then you made a decision to ask yourself, what do I want to tell, or what's the stories that I want to tell?
In hindsight, maybe that can be an answer.
Okay.
But in the process, I have not known this. Maybe that's the answer. So with Mulk, what turned out to be very liberating and a wonderful, peaceful, Zen-like experience is when you are saying through your films exactly what you feel and exactly what you want to say. So it's like having a conversation with your audience, which is a very liberating feeling, which is a very peaceful feeling. But one did not think about it like that, one did not design it like that.
Now, how did the idea of Article 15 come about? Ayushmann told me that you offered him a rom-com and eventually, it became Article 15.
So he had recently seen Mulk, when this is a few weeks after Mulk released that we met. I think we met in October. I offered him a film which was not a rom-com really, but yeah, it was a film from his world where, So he said, okay, I'll read it. And he was a big Mulk fan. And before he left, he ended up saying, what if we did something which is socially relevant and which is intense? And I had this script, which I did not know which actor to go to with. And I was reasonably certain that it wasn't Ayushmann. But I ended up telling that story. And he really loved that story, and he asked me if he could read it. And he got very excited by this story. So I said, yeah, sure, read it. But I told him that I don't see you in this part. So he read it and he pursued. And to be honest, after he left, I looked up some of his pictures, images on Google, and most of them were like this happy-go-lucky boy next door, until I stumbled upon just one image of his, which was intense. And I found that very interesting, and then I told one of my assistants to Photoshop it and just give him a mustache. And when I saw that, I got convinced, even physically. So I bought into his keenness to tell this story. I bought into his conviction into this subject matter. And then this photoshopped image helped.
There's been this contrarian view that you've chosen a Brahmin top cop to come in and sort of help the victims, and so the whole Brahmin as the savior narrative. What's your reaction to that?
The whole idea of making this film was to have a conversation. So if some people think that that was probably not the best thing to do, maybe it was not, maybe it was, but it's good to talk about it. Having said that, those people should also see that Ayushmann is not the only heroic character in the film. There is Nishad as well, and he's so heroic that Ayan Ranjan feels inferior to Nishad. In one scene with his girlfriend, he says, you never look at me like that, the way Gora looks at him. So he has this complex. So there's another hero in the film which is very inspiring and which is very nice.
I also read a couple of opinion pieces where they said that the whole film had a upper caste gaze, okay, and that you did not question the fundamentals of the caste system, which is the Shastras and the Vedas. Do you sometimes think that people expect a lot from a film? You know, they want you to provoke, they want you to create awareness, they also want you to offer solutions.
Yeah, sometimes that happens. It is easier to make that film and show it, then it will be seen by the converted already. I was trying to make a mainstream film that will reach out to the youth of this country who are very blissfully unaware of the goings on. The purpose of the film was probably slightly different from what those people are expecting from this film. I was not trying to educate you on the history of this caste hierarchy. I was not trying to offer any solutions. I was trying to make the normal people talk about it. I was trying to send you home with some questions. So the film had a different reason. But having said that, what they're saying is valid. Those things need to be questioned. And maybe another film by someone else, maybe I don't know. But this is just too much to expect from just one film.
Since the film is inspired by the Badaun case, could you tell me what sort of research went into, creating the incidents that went into your film? Did you go to Badaun? Did you spend time there? Did you watch, did you read reports or watch documentaries?
Badaun is one of the inspirations. So I was not documenting what happened in Badaun. I was just too disturbed by that image of two girls hanging from a tree. And when I looked up, I realized that was not the only incident, only such incident. There are several. Girls have been burnt alive, girls have been buried, alive girls have been buried. So, yes, the inspiration does come from there, but it will be unfair to say that the film in general is inspired by Badaun. So there is also Una, there is also Rohit Vemula, there is a lot of things that you can see in the film that the film is inspired by.
Now, the cinematography of Article 15 is something that really, hits you. It sort of complements the film so much in the atmospherics and the kind of gloom that's hanging over the whole village. Did you have any visual reference for Article 15, the way you wanted it to come across visually?
So Yuvan this is his fourth film with me. So Yuvan also shot Mulk.
Okay.
He also shot Tum Bin 2 with me. He also shot Abhi To Party Shuru Hi Hai. And this is his fourth film with me. Choosing the look was driven by the subject matter, the script. I remember sending him one image of a village in general. And I said, this is what the film looks like to me. And then he created a lookbook. He always creates a lookbook in which he, for every scene, he throws in some reference images from all over the internet. And we agreed upon that. And that's how the look came about.
Because there were a couple of reviews which also said that it had a very true detective kind of a...
Yes, actually, a very dear friend of mine, Naman Ramchandran, who lives in London, he was the first one to say that. And unfortunately, I hadn't seen True Detective. So I quickly ran and I saw the trailer of it. And yes, in terms of look and feel, it can remind you of True Detective. I still haven't seen it. I only have seen the trailer. But I'm told it's fantastic. So it's on my watch list now.
कौन है मान जी?
मान जी हैं,
ऊंची जात के?
ब्राह्मण है सर।
जाटव जी आप दलित हैं ना?
जी सर।
मतलब लड़कों की और आपकी सेम जाती है?
नहीं सर, मैं चमार हूँ, ये पासी हैं।
तुम क्या हो?
मैं कास्ट हूँ सर।
मैं क्या हूँ?
आप ब्राह्मण है सर।
मतलब मैं और मोहन जी सेम?
अरे नहीं सर, वो कान्य कुछ ब्राह्मण है, वो सबसे टॉप वाले होते हैं। आप सरयू पारी।
What the fuck is going on here?
One of the striking scenes in the film is the one in which Ayushmann is, asking his subordinates their caste, and everybody is like explaining the hierarchy, and It's both powerful and it's also hilarious, which is a very rare sort of combination to have in a scene. Could you tell us how that scene came about?
It was just me and Gaurav jamming on the script, and I was cracking this joke. And
This joke, as in the.
this scene as a joke.
Okay.
And Gaurav took it very seriously. He said, no, let's have it in the movie.
Okay.
And then we expanded the scene. So the genesis of this scene was a small joke, which then we expanded into this full-fledged scene.
Okay.
And it was a good opportunity to actually have a bit of a laugh, because it's a grim film. So it was an opportunity to have a good laugh in the film.
Right. At the same time,
Yeah,
very telling.
Ironical, very telling.
What are some of the memorable reactions you've got to Article 15?
Oh man. I mean, have you ever heard a critic called a director from the interval?
Okay.
It is impossible. I mean, they're friends. They're all my friends. I have known them for long. I've received messages from critics after the trailer that Anubhav looking very impressive. Can't wait to watch it, which is fine. But a critic would normally not message you from the interval and say something. The kind of hugs I've received after the premiere got over, there was actually this queue of big celebrities just waiting to come give me a hug. And they wouldn't leave me. And so, very, very overwhelmed responses.
There were some Brahmin groups protesting against the film once the trailer came out and before the film released. What's the status on that? Are they continuing to protest, or have they seen the film and somehow reconciled that it's not really something to protest about?
I think most of them are attention seeking, because every time I try to interact with them, whether it's Facebook or Twitter or even on CNN one night in one of the shows, there was this guy from Khurrana. He hadn't seen the film and he was protesting. So I said, have you seen the film? He said, yes. I said, what is deriding about Brahmins in the film? So he said, no, I have seen the trailer. So then how do you talk?
And I also see a very angry Anubhav Sinha on Twitter getting back at people who are asking you questions, unnecessary questions about the film, saying, "Go, who are you?" And
No, I said, who the fuck are you? Fuck is a UA word. My film is UA and it has fuck in a few times. And I like the word fuck in my conversation.
congratulations.
Thank you, Suresh.
And all the best for
Thank
your
you,
next.
Thank you so much.